All right, this is Pinq and Vico's fourth game. I think they won 3 games in a row, and this is the first game that started. 9 eliminations total. This drop spot that they're going to land at here on this hill, something that I've actually already landed at with Vico in the tournament. So I'm not going to leak you all of their strats because I don't want to be that guy who, you know, they told me what they're doing. But I will give you like a general breakdown. I think in this game, it seems like they were conned. Let me just... So what they were aiming for here was this drop spot, which has 7 barrels, so it gets you up to like a 170 each if you break them all. They've been fully out-dropped. Then they'd usually go down here. So I'm interested in seeing what they'd rather do now that they're conned, because the loot around here is pretty abysmal if you end up getting contested. So there is a team also that is landed, as you can see, down below them here, which is that's where the forecast tower is. And I guess these are the teams that are going to land up in what's this, Grand Glacier? That's what it's called. So pretty much now they're left with kind of scraps of loot, which is along here. But there is still obviously a good amount of slurp barrels that they can get from this spot. There's a couple chests they can get here too, but given the fact that they won this game is pretty damn impressive. Seeing that Vico has just managed to, and Pinq have both managed to get, I always forget what it's called, the EMP grenades. This is like a major part of almost every team's strategy at the minute, whether you're using them on fishing spots, like Vico and Pinq are probably about to right here, or you're going to use them on vending or mending machines. Almost every single team is using EMPs to some extent, right? Love a little bit of extra protection along the walls. And obviously this is the team that landed up on the hill above. So they expected to get this loot. So that team there probably has very, very minimal loot if they've only managed to get the top of the hill, maybe the metal spot to the northwest. And now they're starting to be surrounded by teams. So this is immediately bad. And I like that Vico immediately goes for the push because they have almost nothing left in their inventory. Like, they have no loot and they need to go for a fight. Like, if they don't fight this, they're going to have nothing. Like, no mats. This team's going to get ahead of them. They're going to go for it. And unfortunately, they got absolutely nothing out of it from the first elim because that team also was scuffed. Nice from Vico to pick up first elim. And then it should just be a 1v2 pinch. Yeah, around the back. And Wheat is absolutely wiped out. Unfortunately, though, you know, because that team had nothing, both of the teams here have... You've basically got nothing from that. But they did the grapple blade, which is pretty big. Which now is a grapple blade for both of them. So this is a game that they can work with. More EMPs. Like they can fish more with. Or they can go back up and get more like big pots and medkits from Grand Glacier. Or they can just fish here like I already mentioned. Interesting. They're going to choose to grapple away. There is so many teams here that... I mean, there's just no chance they're going to get anything. So basically, they're running on scraps of loot. No shield in between all of them. Again, still got some EMPs. So if I'm Vico and Pinq in this situation, I'm thinking, where is my nearest vet mending machine? So that I can go and buy like the amount of big pots from them. I can throw the EMPs at them, get the gold, go and get some shield back. The other alternative in this situation, of course, they're harvesting mats to try and ensure they have enough to fight, is that they then just go for another elimination, right? It's like, who is around us that we can go and push, that we can just try and get refreshed on? We'll have to go for a sneak play. And pushing into railways is probably a relatively good idea because these fights usually take a long time. They're also fighting the mythic boss in there, which can be used as a distraction where you can sneak up behind them. But yes, as you can see, we are indeed going into the mending machine. You can see that's 150 gold, sometimes 100, sometimes 50. That's going to be a ton of gold they can get in their inventory, buy a bunch of big pots. And honestly now, if all of these have been bought, like if they manage to get all 4, that's the max stack size that's in there, then that means that their inventory is probably almost okay, that they don't actually have to fight anyone anymore. So they opted to buy some medkits, which is of course very important for winning games. And then they also have managed to get like a couple of big pots each just to keep themselves in it. And now they're obviously usually really focused on getting forecast here. But as you can tell, there's a team that's already built up on top of it. Usually you want to be the first team on top of the hill. And that's what Kiro and Kiduo did, which is the team that outdropped them earlier on off spawn. And now they've managed to also get into the spot that they want to. So it's going to definitely be about sneaking up. And a bit, at this point, like they've got no advantage. So it's just going to be, right, we're going to have to fight you guys for the tower. If they get the elims, again, that's more loot. If they don't, well, then it's a bit wraps for them. But, I mean, Vico and Pinq are extremely good box fighters, in particular, of course. Vico, when I was playing the Cash Cup with him, it was insane. He was just so goddamn reliable. It's like, it's a 1v2, doesn't matter, he's gonna get the kills. It's just like someone you can rely on so much, in particular when you're fighting like lower level players, but even against pro players like these two, like this is, I have absolutely full faith that Vico's about to dunk on him. One thing to note about Vico's fighting style is notice he's not double pickaxing if someone's there, but he's always just trying to take a right hand peek, be super safe. He's never overexposing himself in order to get chunked by damage. Just playing this slightly slower and continually trying to apply that pressure is what's always going to allow you to win these super awkward fights against like high level teams. I mean, Kadu is playing this really, really well as well. Like, it's so awkward and hard to hit someone if they're just continually holding right-hand peaks like that. Like, you will end up falling if you end up going straight into an edit. Like, if Vico tries to do anything at that point where he's sitting behind a peanut butter edit trying to take the floor and cone, it's actually just impossible to hit them. Nice. Pinq opens up the big shot, and now it seems like Vico is just going to go straight through pickaxe, right? Because they edited so many different walls there. So now the time... Oh! Okay. He jumps straight in. I love the fact that he jumps out, doesn't want to risk dying straight away. So he, even though he's full pieced him, he allows him to get out. Switches angles, picks up Kiro. Nice. Again, nice little protection shot. Doesn't go for the double pickaxe. He immediately shoots once and then switches back to his shotgun. Just in case he edits through. Beautiful. That's 4 elims now for Vico total. But again, I'm not entirely sure if they got forecast. So let me just go back and check. So he spawns. This is a nice edit that they did in order to actually capture the spawners on there. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Or if it was just because they were trying to take angles to wall replace. Get it down. Kiddo gets the card. Yeah, so I went and checked. Kiddo did get forecast. So this game, Vico and Pinq do not know where every single zone is coming ahead. And that's actually usually a big part of their strategy, is just getting forecast every single zone. They do not have it this game. But again, now from this position, that fight took a long, long time. And yet again, because it took so long, they have no shields. So this is like the... I mean, they basically have had no shields for the entirety of this game so far. Minimal materials. At least they have enough damage for Surge, but this is also a pretty dead game. There's only 45 alive. Keep searching through. At least they've got a bunch of medkits in order to win heal off. Like, Pinq's carrying 3 floppers and 3 medkits. So if it goes down to heal off this game, they still have a chance of winning. It's just, again, the shields are the problem. They've done a good job of also reharvesting this whole time in order to get in some mats. So there's a couple spots down in the southeast where they'll be able to harvest metal if they need to. But it's more than likely that they're going to have to kill someone quickly rather than taking a long drawn-out fight, in order to try and get some sort of shields out of it. Pinq, again, he is using another EMPs as he goes south. So a lot of these little spots you should try and learn. Just like where there are these kind of lakes that you can continually do this. Because sometimes, like, they just found EMPs lying on the floor here. And they can fish, which gives them more floppers for heal off, but also it gives them more, what you call them, thingy fish if they need to. Shield fish. Keeps just resetting the edits. I like the teamwork on the fishing here. Where Pinq is fishing, and then Vico's resetting it when the fishing rod's out, just to make sure he's not sitting in the open. It's really interesting that you can reel in through a wall. So by resetting the edit, that means you can pull the whatever it is back through it to give you a little bit more safety while you're fishing. Okay, so what do they get from that? 2 shield fish in a big pot. So now, like, okay, it's not great heals, particularly the ammo. Like, Pinq has 46 AR ammo. And Vico only has 200. But, like, this is... You can play from this. This is now a point where this game is salvageable. I don't know where Pinq got all that metal from, I'm not gonna lie. He's still got 400 metal. I didn't see him harvest that at all. But that's good. And brick's pretty easily harvestable pretty much anywhere on the map. A lot of these, like, walls of these little buildings, like he's approaching here, actually have, like, sometimes, like, 33 brick per one. Yeah, that's roughly what that one was as well. Let me see, it was 181. So, like, a lot of these little spots, you can really easily reharvest your brick on. Okay, that one was like 10. Like, there's just so many of these lying around that it's pretty easy for you to rotate and reharvest brick. Metal is another story, and that's kind of always been the case in Fortnite, but there are a few good spots. Usually, like, if you want to look at the map, like, a lot of places, if you're going to reharvest your metal, like this area is nearly always got a ton left, and a lot of the floors are left that. Same down here, depending on the zones, of course. Not sure any others off the top of my head, but there's a good few in this corner if you end up down here. And now, like, Pinq's cap 136 builds, Vico's 102. I imagine it's the metal. Yeah, he has absolutely no metal. But again, now they're in a position where they can play for this game. Like, they're chilling. And they're also on the full south side, full dead side. There's going to be the least amount of players here. As you can see, they're down here. Like, obviously, it's not the most stacked game, only 43 alive. But still, like, they've managed to rotate themselves all the way down to the south side so that wherever they pull zone, they're already chilling. And I think in these kind of games, you know most people are going to be on this north side. So situating yourself somewhere closer to the middle, like still on dead side, gives you the easiest rotate. You know, if it pulls back, sure, you have a tough, like, rotate through everyone, but you still are giving yourself the best chance, because if it pulls south, which is not likely to based on the water, you have the best rotate there. If it pulls to the west, you have the best way to go this way. If it pulls here, you're fine. It's just that, like, one of 4 zones, obviously I'm simplifying it, you are the worst for. Just right on the edge, not going too high or anything. They basically just put themselves on a position where they can re-harvest some brick. Like, they don't necessarily need to do anything stupid, go really high, go really low, anything like that. They're not going for surge, as like I said, 40 up. It's not a stat game. You just essentially need to box somewhere in this kind of game and just chill. If this was a more aggressive game where players were W keying really hard, you probably might not want to just sit in a box like this because you put yourself as a target to be W keyed. But again, just sitting somewhere where you can re-harvest materials is really important, and there was a big brick here that they're able to like re-harvest ultimates they used. So small little things like that will keep you going a little bit deeper into the game. Another thing you probably shouldn't do in these kind of lobbies is just do edits like that, where most people, you really should just sit and chill. Like, don't edit your walls, don't edit your cones, just observe, take in information from around you. If you spray someone, you're not likely to get elims, in particular based on how little ammo they have. Obviously, Vico's got more than Pinq does. But it's not like you can server spray someone with all your ammo. You need to keep that for endgame at least a little bit. But yeah, they're taking a good initiative here, to be honest, is sitting on this side of the zone and grabbing themselves a bunch of berries. You'll notice when it comes to endgame, like, they don't even have grapple blades. Did they not both have grapple blades? Yeah, they actually dropped their grapple blades. So one thing I do know is that Vico said he doesn't really like to play grapple blades that much, and if you watched any endgames, firstly, they're laggy as hell, and grapple blades, if you play them in a laggy lobby, can make you get stuck in the air. But secondly, like, it's very easy to get beamed out of the sky, even in a non-laggy lobby in endgame, because of that, like, second animation. So a lot of players tend to actually use the berries, or the juice, more importantly, if you find one over that. I love the initiative just to kind of aggressively go for that loot on the body, which might get the metal that Vico needs. Yep, there's the metal he needs back. Little upgrade on the weapons. Still no ammo, unfortunately. I mean, there might actually be ammo. It might just be bugged because Fortnite's... Yeah, they did get ammo. Okay, now you can see that I've refreshed it. They got ammo. So basically, they're absolutely fully chilling now. They can 100% play out this end game. Mobility's still not the greatest because they only have 5 berries. But this is absolutely something they can work with. From here as well, that zone's obviously pulling to the far right. Remember, most of the people were on the north side, which hasn't actually played out that importantly in this game. Like, most of those players haven't ended up sitting down onto here because it's relatively dead. But I'm guessing they're probably going to try and wrap somewhere south. In this kind of situation, if there's a lot of players in front of you, sometimes it's best just to go onto, like, edge here, because you never know where the rest of these players are. Like, they're relatively evenly distributed, and you could pull this next zone right next to you. So, like, risking going deeper into the zone if you don't have the opportunity to is not always worth it. So, again, yeah, I think from them, they're just going to sit right on edge. There's almost no benefit to continue trying to go deeper when you're this late into your rotate. You can see also, once a single player uses a grapple blade, it's really obvious that the other player is also probably going to use a grapple blade as well. So you can see that, like, Pinq tried to fire at the player in the back there who was rotating. So that's one of the difficulties if you both use grapple blades in duos, is that the second player almost definitely has someone looking at him, because that first player had someone looking at him, and then the other player follows him second. So it kind of puts a lot of eyes onto you, whereas if you just use berries, sometimes you can just run at the same time. It's not that you shouldn't use grapple blades at all, but, like, a lot of teams are opting not to use them. Nice. Here's the player get cracked. I like that they jump into different angles. That's a player finish. Now it's a 2v1. So just hyper aggressive. Just spray to get the finish. Super easy. And now there's juice there as well. So you can drop the berries, I imagine. Yep. Get a full juice. So this is essentially like 20 single uses of mobility. And now as you can see, like, no grapplers in inventory. They've got tons of whites. Everything to win the game out. Now, just because of like a couple nice little elims, being patient, not being too stupid, like they're absolutely set up to win. Here, bit of a tricky rotate from their position. Like, it's not that far of a zone, as you can see, but pretty much the whole lobby's in front of them. No one's looking back at them yet, but if they're just immediately going to sprint that, they're going to die, right? It's highly likely they're going to die, or they're going to get lobby focused. And that's particularly true in these kind of dead games. With a team behind them as well, it's a little bit risky. So for this, the timing's really important. So for them, I'm imagining they're going to wait until they see a team in front of them rotate, and then go. Or they're going to wait until every single team moves at the same time, which is essentially the same thing, right? Essentially just waiting until that zone closes, pop a juice, and then go. You also may not particularly want to pop a single bit of the juice in this, because if one of those teams is watching you backwards, they'll see the animation and know that you're about to jump out into the open. So you have to kind of be careful on when you choose to use your rotation items. So teams grapple bladed, you can hear. You see there's teams behind. Vico goes for some shots. Now they juice. Everyone's moving at the same time, so those teams in front, some reason didn't shoot. Okay, they're probably just not even good, but whatever. Now they just keep moving. A little bit of wood use. I like the reharvest here. Staggering a little bit. Potentially look back for an elim. Oh, no. Vico did get beamed in the back, so they're just going to take some time to heal up. A little bit of free loot in front of them. I'm predominantly just... I think I watched this just from Pinq's perspective for this whole lane game, even if Vico goes crazy. Purely just because he's the one at front, he's the one decision-making, and I think that's a lot of the times what you can learn the most from, and from another game, maybe Warts of Fragger. Players spraying on their lobby. Like that they're both just sitting to that far left behind the peanut butter peak. Nice. Pinq makes a good initiative here to try and cut them off. Nice little edit with the cone, the Dorito, to try and give himself some angles. I think he was trying to do like a bottom 3 tile instead. I like the fact that they were being shot, and they decided just to be more aggressive back onto them. Little W key the player above. Didn't double pickaxe. Notice how he pickaxed once and then switched back. Nice. Another free healing for him. This is actually a fully dead game as well, now that I look at it. But again, we can still learn from it. I'll watch another one of their end games, I think, after this. He's using the juice with the top covered. This is one of the benefits of, again, using the Flowbray items. Is that you can build while jumping, right? You can rotate faster whilst building to keep yourself protected. So if you're on like a low layer like that, you can do exactly as they did. Cover your tops and keep moving. Love the drop down the back. Doesn't W key for it because another player there, even though he full milks. But yeah, okay. That's like the deadest game ever and the freest win. So we'll watch another one, I think. So what I'll probably do here is I want to watch these mainly from Pinq's POV. Since he's more the IGL, he's the guy that's making a lot of the decisions. So I want to think about this from their perspective. So they've already got 1k above Surge in this particular game already, which we saw absolutely none of because I entirely skipped it all. So yeah, good stuff. So again, they're sitting there. They were pretty deep into that game. I'm not sure here if they have forecast this game. Again, that would have been good to check. But regardless, they're going deeper straight into that 6th zone. So again, if you look in these kind of in these zones, they were situated like as deep as you could, almost into the half and half. As soon as it opened up, they moved a little bit deeper in. If the next zone pulls here, I'm just going to presume that they do have forecast this game. Okay, so zone does pull there. I'm presuming they do have forecast. That is a big part of their strategy, regardless. So from this position, what's the looking like in front of them? So they have like little to no vision of what they have in front of them. So like this is essentially, oh shit, escape. This is essentially what he's looking at, is just this hill with a team directly in front of him and nothing, no vision. So like for them, this rotate's already going to be kind of tricky. But my presumption here is if I was them, I'm waiting until everyone starts moving. So the next 20 seconds, immediately hit the juice and just hope for best. You just go when everyone else is going, or that team to the left of them that's sitting in the brick, you go at the same time as them. You just essentially don't want to be rotating when no one else is. Okay, cheeky little shot in the back to make them box up. I'm not entirely sure why they would do that, in all honesty. Because most of the time, if you shoot someone in the back, they're just going to turn around and hold you. Okay, zone's moving now. Seem to be looking for an option to go. You can see everyone's rotating at the exact same time. Pop a juice. Storm Surge, yeah, they're chilling. I mean, they're 1,000 above, so you don't necessarily need Storm Surge damage there. And again, I said this earlier when I was not streaming, but the benefit of using berries over using grapplers, which is like they almost never take grapplers, is the fact that you can build while you're rotating there. So on that rotation, Jesus Christ, this is laggy. Thank you, Stormers. Not Storm Surge. Thank you, server lag. The benefit is like you can make a difficult rotate and continually like build as you go and keep yourself protected. And I think we're seeing a lot more pros not take double grapple blades, in particular because it's like, just like laggy as shit. When it's laggy and you're using the grapple blade, you can just stand still. As if you've seen my tweet the other day, you'll know exactly why. Oh, this is laggy. Oh, it's laggy. Now the height retake is what I'm really interested in. So again, another benefit, as I mentioned, when you're using juice, you can build, cover your top. If they're in that situation using a grapple blade, it's so easy for you to get shot. But no, they can just fly straight across the front, cover their top if they need to. Get a little bit lost in the sauce to the back. Juicing. Protect in front. I like the edits out the box and places a ramp in front of him because he has no vision of who's in front of him. So a ramp will immediately protect your front from anyone spraying you when you're at backside. So like getting into the habit of like editing out and placing a ramp in front of you, and particular a cone on top of that, if you don't know what's in front of you, is super useful before you rotate. It can cover almost every angle and make sure you don't get shot. That is, of course, if you have no visibility. Again, a good thing that you do is every single time they go for one of these berry rotates is that they're looking at what's above them, right? Like, if you can mirror with the berries and stay down below, you can stay underneath them and stay completely hidden. Oh, no, Spen! Oh, Spen's been hit by a beautiful pre-edit play. And again, there, looking for that pre-edit play is super easy because all you do is once you get yourself situated in a good layer above someone, you just find someone in wood and go for the pre-edit, because it's like the chances are they don't have good mats. You can build a double spray through them in laggy lobbies super easily. Nice little tarp again. Vico can move a little bit faster by jumping since he has the juice on. All right, straight to front side again, just down to wood. Vico's also down into, does he have any hard mats? Okay, Pink's still got some hard mats left. It's interesting. There's always a couple of debates about like whether you want to pop a med kit this early or not, because obviously you're losing heal off potential, but at the same time it's so worth it if you're, you know, 78 shield and like 70 HP. It's almost deceiving. You think you have more HP than you do, so it's almost worth it like popping it for that 30 HP. When you watch the game OCE, I'll probably watch in order of the whatever it is in replays after this outside of Middle East. Okay, someone jumped straight in the box. No HP. And at this point, you're in such like a... You're in a tricky spot because they don't own a lot of the floors. I don't know if this is going back over old builds. I didn't actually check. But just one of the super basics of what they're doing is always ensuring you're placing like a cone on a floor underneath you and above when you're using wood. If you're just sitting on a wood floor or a wood ramp, like, you are going to die. It is slightly risky to walk around like this. I know he's probably looking for the other player. But if you're going to walk around like that, you can easily just walk into someone healing off. Okay, and they went. Cool, cool. All right, this is the team. So I'm imagining this is the team who called off spawn. So you just basically followed them. There's also an interesting thing to note that if you're contesting a team off spawn, they instantly dip away from you. They probably suck because they don't have the confidence to fight you off spawn, or they don't have good enough loot. So let me just check. Immediately you've keyed them. Now they've obviously had some chance to loot in between. Fucking where are they? Yeah, like their inventories already like are not good. So immediately, since they've dipped off the PY, you already know you have the advantage in the fight. It's not a massive advantage just looking at the loadouts between the two, but for the most part, that's going to be the case. Okay. I like the immediate protection. So many people don't box themselves up while they're fighting this season. It's actually insane to me. Like the amount of people who just go onto a wall and don't sit and protect themselves. God ping from the other player. Okay, you two need to sit behind a better angle here. One of the problems from this kind of position is like if you're both spraying from one wall, that's great. But at the same time, if you're two really good players, sitting from the same angle is just giving the other player a chance to like do what they just did there and come around and sneak from the side. Like if you're shit, both go from the same angle is good. But if you're two good players on the region, you should both have the ability to sit and go from different peaks. Pinch. It's much easier to get these fights done quicker. Okay. Pump didn't shoot. Got to work on those reaction times, I think, Deymo. I like that he's gone to wrap back round because he knows he's got walls. Now you've got an intrinsic pinch between the two of them. Weaken the wall. Not breaking through is also good. Weakening walls like that just leaves people on such scared... Like, if you just weaken walls, don't spray them. So many people don't have the muscle memory to, like, press whatever bind it is to strengthen them up. So you can actually just make people scared. It's hilarious. Like, you can play mental games just by weakening the builds around them and not fully breaking in them. Okay. You got the 2v1, so just jumping straight in. Maybe a little too aggressively. All right, come on, guys. We gotta hit a bullet here. We gotta hit a bullet here, guys. One or two. Going to comp. Let's go, Mantis. Okay, Evo's down. Not gonna lie, these guys are kind of just wobbling about. This should have been done. This fight should have been finished much quicker if you'd start a pinch. And also, how is Sanjog dead? Come on. Okay. Come on, Sanjog. Come on. What we playing out here? What we playing out here? Come on, sir. What's going on here? What's going on here, mate? Left hand peek. Okay. Immediate problem, like, you got some builds and you're just like running straight into the other player's builds without even like placing your own cone to go onto. Sure, you can just run straight into their wall when they're weak and spray through, but like, take your time, reload. Don't be like trying to run through with a shotgun out and die like that. Like, you know, super basic. Okay, we're chilling. But yeah, that fight should have been over in like... The other team created a bunch of space off the rip, right? Like, they made like 4 boxes. So it does make it more difficult to start, right? It's a hard one to like get straight into to start when you've got all these angles, but like that's even one of the more reasons why you should be pressuring from 2 different angles, because they have so many boxes that they can work from to start with. So for like, you know, obviously for reference, if you come across like non-OCE players and fight like that, you are dead instantly. Like if you fought, like, obviously Vico's the jet, Vico and Pinq fighting like that, like, it's wraps, you know. Even in like EU, some of the players in some of these semis lobbies were so bad in comparison to some of the top players in the region. Blunt slide 4. Okay, who the fuck is it? How is this guy made round 4? So wait, I'm sorry, what? Sorry, I have to go back to that. What have I just seen, bro? What is going on, man? Oh. OCE never fails to disappoint, man. Oh, okay. Rovak's off. Oh, it's funny. We have a runner. That is actually a god hiding spot. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty sus, though. How'd you know he was there? How'd you know he was there? That was just fucking around, man. Alright, we've got 2 players boxed up. 1 person's going on the exit. Full pinching round, so what we like to see. Again, actually protecting themselves this time. And in this situation also, it's just like you might as well just play for, like, actually just start getting the fuck in. I don't mean into their building, but just start replacing, start grabbing walls, grabbing angles, because this other team has so much space in here. But they're just kind of lost. The middle window peak! Unbeatable! Oh. That's a resub classic right there. Fully exposed middle window peak, minimum body shot. Deymo. Deymo, come on, bro. Come on, bro. We can't be doing that, man. Can't be doing that, bro. We can't be doing that, bro. Okay. Luckily, there are no HP. Okay. That seems to have skipped back a ton. Okay. Even if he did check that, I'm not even gonna lie. He probably wouldn't. He didn't. He just blatantly ran in without looking. But like, come on, just look. That's on you. I'm not gonna lie. That is on you. And then Sanjog clutches it up. Why is there also just another team hiding in the roof of this building? What is going on? Yo, that's actually like... low-key, that is a goated spot. Pretty free rotate. The big Oatly in the box. Ooh. Situations like this, right? Let's see what happens here quickly before I go back to that. Okay. Here, at this exact moment, you should place a cone here, right? Or when he lands here, place it here. Place a cone. And a wall here, preferably, or one behind to make sure he doesn't get shot. Because at this point, if he has a cone, and he does grab that wall, boom, this is prevented. And now they're both double aiming from this wall because this edit was not great anyway, because it's just like open right in their face. But if you have a cone and a proper edit, you immediately have a good shot and don't get blocked over straight away. Like, I like this also. So many players rotating at the same time, sitting at backside. The only problem with this strat is that if you wait too long, you'll be the ones who get held. But again, they rotated at the exact same time as everyone else. So like as soon as zone starts going, they go. That's why if you end up using a grapple blade or rotating right before the zone starts to close, it's like one of the worst times to do it because people are waiting at backside to spray you. You basically just want to wait until everyone goes and then you go. Or you just go immediately right early. If you're anywhere in between, it's usually not bad. It's not good, right? It's like immediately rotate or as soon as zone starts to go. Player's white. I don't know if I would just immediately key onto that. I don't know if they were in... Oh, they weren't in zone. Okay, sorry. Take it back. I like that he doesn't focus the loot straight away. I don't know if Deymo went and got it from behind or not, but the kill's a kill. You don't need it. And also, I like the idea of going for a refresh here. Immediately going for a refresh before zones start moving is often one of the best ways just to get yourself capped so that you don't have to fight in first moving, right? Nice. Zone's pulling back, so they pre-tarp in. I really like that play, especially since there's extra materials there. You should, however, if you're going to have someone do this, because obviously heal off's a big problem for grand finals, have one player be like the designated storm tanker in a sense, whether it's in like early game, mid game, end game, wherever it is, so that by the time it comes to play heal off in end game, you have someone who's taken as little storm damage as possible. Yeah, because there's a few instances here where they take storm damage. So, if, for example, if Sanjog's the one who ends up going for heal off later on, you'll see why. I'm not entirely sure if it was or not, but you should kind of have one person designated to do that. And again, this is good that they're very active here, right? Like, they're not focusing on, like, just sitting, doing nothing. They're looking at the players around them, trying to go for them, fight them off their lair. Great dead side. They found that side that's open. Get to the front side. A little bit more storm tanked. That's a little bit more unintentional this time. And again, this is the difficulty sometimes of using grappler over flowberries, where you get kind of awkward rotates rather than like precise ones. Nice rotates. Quite material efficient too in that. Nice. Seeing the solo or someone by himself. He's obviously not a solo. Jumping straight in. I love this. That's the point where they needed a refresh. So spotting someone by himself who's just got freshly built builds behind him is such a... that's a really nice play. It's really nice timing. Okay. The drop down was a little bit too aggressive. But I like the fact they went for the play. They're really good at staying on like the dead side here too. Like their end game's actually pretty solid, you know? Like they're obviously full W keying and being like hyper aggressive in end game, which again, as I said, might not work against some of the best players. Accidental piece, I think. Nice. That guy missed. That's a bit of a rough ending. Right now, you need to get onto a good layer so Sanjog can heal. But they're still going for fights. So at this point, it's like Deymo should be taking over in order to tarp and creating enough space and getting them off their shitty lair so that Sanjog can heal up. He's obviously got medallion, but at the same time, he needs to pop a medkit or whites. I also would not wait for the medallion here. So he's like waiting for the medallion to heal him up before popping a big, but you stay so low and risk so much white. Okay, wraps around. I think that's this idea of wrapping all the way around Storm here may have lost them the game because they take a bunch of white health, but they were in such a shambles position back here where they would have to look at what they'd have to go through if they didn't do that. So despite the fact that this may have lost them the game because they took more white damage, I really still like that play. That's a really nice one. Nice. I was about to say not jumping straight down was nice, but then you jump straight down at the end. You know, keeping your distance that little bit more removes the risk. If this works against lower level players, that's fine. But again, similarly, if you jump into like a really hot, good player's box, like you're dead there straight away. I have no idea how he got hit there, but I guess he didn't grab the roof. So Deymo should be the one playing heal off, but he has no whites. because Sanjog has taken the most storm damage so far. Again, they also just don't have... They have one med kit, so you're not going to win heal off anyway. Nice. So if you're not going to win heal off at this point, this should be the point where they're upping their aggression to try and like fight the other players. Which I think is exactly what Deymo's doing. Nice. Goes up for it. Yeah, I just think there's almost no chance you're winning that now at this point. Even if they had like a couple medkits, I think like Oatly's so high up. Yeah, you're just not winning this. That's just like, I'm not going to say this was an unwinnable game. But even if they had, like, in this situation, had a lot of medkits, they weren't playing high. They were playing low ground. They were going for frags, and they got more points by going for, like, so many elims on low ground than they would have for playing high. So, again, if this was, like, the semifinals where you have to win a game, this strategy, whatever they did here, absolutely would have not worked. But given the setup that they had, they played it pretty well in endgame. The early and mid game was kind of scuffed. It was a bit all over the place as we saw. But their end game is like really nicely aggressive. In a region where that style of play works, because of course, like, you know, the average player is not so great. All right, so there's one team contesting them. There's almost no mats or anything you have here, and the other team has the vault. Assuming they get in there first, but you don't want to be you do not want to run to the vault prior to them killing the other team. Love the crash pad play, get around the other side. This other team's not going to have many mats. So as long as you play your ammo, which he has absolutely none of, you're chilling. And this is immediately a good start, right? What we did not see our OCE teams do, which was just split on the opposite sides and just pinch in. Outside the fact that Sanku dies anyway. He traded 1 for 1 though, which in this situation is not that bad. So you can just finish things off. Okay. A little bit too aggressive, but here's the thing. In all honesty, people might look at that and be like, well, that was such a bad play. But you have to finish these fights incredibly quickly. And if you don't, you'll see why, because there's a team third partying in already. So if these fights like drone out and take far too long, it's just not going to work. Both teams are going to die, especially if you're the team on the outside who is susceptible for teams pushing in, right? You see that team's already pushed up and is looking here. Interesting, they're a train team. Okay. That's no longer so interesting. Okay. Well, I wasn't ready for that. Okay, gets the card. Alright, where are you going to go reboot now? I would imagine up north on the edge of the map somewhere, maybe. Or is he just going to do it right here? Ooh, I like that. Okay. So he's gone onto the bounty board to see where the nearest team is, which is probably, obviously we can't see it here. I imagine it's highlighted this team. Now, if you get highlighted by a bounty board, you can also kind of tell where players are. Essentially, like, so if you get highlighted and your knowledge is good and you know where the bounty boards are around you, you can predict where that team is that's used that from. So it can also be an indicator to you of where that team is, right? They feel comfortable enough to reboot because I'm guessing the marker's far enough away. Okay, he's got the reboot in. I would like to see him immediately ramp up as soon as you've rebooted. In case there is a team kind of sitting on an angle trying to spray you down. Fun fact, in comp, these vaults are always open. So there's one here, and there's one like over there as well. I'm sure there's other ones. And in tournaments, for some reason, they're bugged and they're always open. As you can see, the card is here. So the card's not even being used. So you can actually, in tournaments, not in ranked, you can just land straight into these vaults. Okay, they somehow got a kill there. Over-peeked a little bit too much. If you're going to be peeking that far out of a box, you need to be putting like a cone above you or something. Just so you don't... Like, you need to be sitting far enough back in your box or sitting with cones above you to make sure you've not gotten like shot from above. Sanku's just chilling, popping a medkit while his teammate's getting absolutely railed by the whole lobby as well. Even here, like, that's a little bit of an over-peek. And they somehow managed to get... Was that 2 kills out of that? Yeah, they managed to get 2 kills out of that and another, like, 100 Storm Surge. Okay, so they got them weak. Nice slide in. Big pump. Ooh, another Peter Griffin doesn't know what's hit him. And it's Frosty. Nice, okay, cool. That's the kind of situation where teams have been sprayed for so long. Like, you can tell, you can hear that when they get their shield cracked, they've been focused for a long, long time. It's like, it's a pretty easy, like, tell that you can just run in and kill them. It's risky because If you don't hear them getting cracked, you absolutely do not do that. The first thing they should be doing there also, as soon as you've got boxes like this, is to create a bunch more space of your own builds. As you can see, like, they were both just sitting in builds that weren't theirs. So if they got pushed there, they had no, like, escape. So they should have created an extra box to make sure they get out. Nice little protect angle. Spots a player in wood. Again, I said this earlier, as soon as you see someone in wood, that's usually some of the freest elims because they're super weak. And if you keep spraying them, eventually they're going to be out of mats, and that's just free points. They're very active. This is what I said earlier, where they're like, a lot of the teams are, as soon as you're boxed up, they're not just doing nothing. They're looking around. They're trying to gain as much information as possible. And they see that they have this potential to keep going straight up this hill. I love the fact that they elevated themselves a little bit earlier there. If it doesn't pull up, it doesn't matter. But now if it pulls south or southeast at all, they have the chance to be up and ahead of all these people and don't get stuck down. Now, it does kind of pull over, so they've already put themselves in such a good position. So that little elevation change was so good. So clearly these guys are paying attention to where the zone is pulling. They're not just, like, waiting. They're predicting ahead of time. Like, where could this go? They do like to play relatively low layers, which with the grapple blade is kind of risky, because you can get stuck in amongst all of these different spots. And pop a big, take some time. I think he just... Did he waste a big? Oh, no, he's still using it. Okay. Tanking some storm, which can be bad for heal off there. I don't know if it's necessarily worth taking the 2 ticks just to get... Or 3 ticks just to get a big paw off. Especially since you have the fizz. So, like, in that situation, they probably should have just cancelled the big pot, rotated, and then used a bit of fizz later. See, now he's have to waste a medkit for 30 HP, where he didn't really need to before, where he could have wasted 30 fizz, which could have used them, helped them rotate anyway. Nice. A little bit of wood used before tarping the metal. See someone else in wood. As we said earlier, this is a good way to find people who are weak. Unfortunately, you don't get much from the refreshes, but they are free points. They do have to kind of be careful of players coming in their back here. Nice drop down. If he placed a cone underneath him, could have tried to drop that down straight into him. Right, now it seems like it's just getting a bit messy here. 0 mats. Nice. That's great aggression from 2 different angles in endgame, right? That like, even though he had no mats, he could still pressure from that side wall. Continually spraying, not trying to wall replace, obviously because he has no builds, but just keep pressuring, pressuring, pressuring. And that gave him a massive refresh. That was 50 builds. So that's like, if he had medkits, they don't have anything to play heal off here, but had they set themselves up properly for heal off, they could win this game from that refresh alone. Probably. Maybe one more. Now they're also an awkward layer. Ooh, nice max pump. Great pinch again. 1 drops from the backside of zone, 1 drops from the front side. These guys are really good at fragging in endgame. Like, their chemistry is really good. Again, they're not set up to win heal offs at all. But they're nice and aggressive. And then they just died to storm. Interesting. So, like, they had to play aggressive to go for kills. And their mid-ground layering in the end there potentially could have lost them because they were getting pinched from above and below. But really nice fragging overall, I will say. Yeah, anyway, so a lot of the players now, like I've already mentioned quite a lot of times, not looking to use grapple blades. For this rotate, I would imagine they're going to do one of the crash pad flowberry rotates. This is like the perfect setup for it. Yep. Fizz first. Chuck it into the corner, reset the cone, big edit, sprint. Through the trees. That's a beautiful rotate. You can slide jump maybe to go further. Yeah, because they're not actually in here. I like that they were safe, though. Big problem is there's no metal, and if they're already getting focused, that's a problem, but no, they're chilling. I do like that they go for some, like, counter-aggression, too. One way that you can stop yourself getting lobby-focused is just to shoot them back. It sounds very, very simple, but it's something that a lot of players don't do. They just sit and hold their walls and hope for the best. But as soon as you shoot someone, 1 bullet, they will stop spraying you. I guarantee you. Ooh, beautiful headshot snipe. Okay. Protected tarp over there. I like that. And they go straight for the wall. They're very aggressive. They're just looking to... They're just pushing each other in, basically. Watch that wall behind. Nice. I like that he got that and immediately backs out into his own box because that back wall wasn't his and he could have easily got pieced up there. Okay. I'd imagine they're going to do some sort of crash pad rotate again. Yep. I don't think you need the fizz this time because you'll go too far if they fizz. I was going to say, it's a bit risky to do that so early because someone can shoot out your crash pad if you do it too early. Nice. Beautiful rotates. I love that he slid and has gone deeper into zone here to get onto like the further dead side away from everyone. Yeah, it seemed like a bit early since zone hadn't started moving. Maybe they just wanted it for heals. Oh, they're going to do the backwards crash pad. They placed walls at their side, which is really nice. Let me just pause this before. I love that as they did this through the cone, they placed walls here and here to ensure that like these teams don't spray them while they're doing it up above. That's really nice. These are still pretty risky. If you're going to do these styles of rotates, you have to plan it way in advance. And their Fizz ran out. I don't know if you would really do it. I think Fizz would take you too far while doing that there. Going into the back of someone, double sneaking the back of someone's tarp. That's so nice straight away. First moving, if the people don't have rotate, like, it's actually so easy to get free elims from people in the back. Like, they never pay attention. Audio's so bad. You can just easily swing into the back of people's tarps, even if you're in metal. And the thing is, they chose someone in metal. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but they have like a ton of if they're targeting a metal, you know they're gonna have a bunch of mats, right? So it's like it's an opposite. If you go for someone who's in wood, you know it's free elims, but if you're going for someone in metal, you know you're gonna get a big refresh from it. So doing that first move in can like set them up to win the entire game. Obviously it didn't work there, but it's the thought process, you know. Obviously, like one thing that people keep forgetting about with the Fizz is that you can just use it to drop. Like everyone always thinks about you Fizz and then you jump. However, most people don't think if you're high up, you can just Fizz and drop straight down and like negate all fall damage. Bro, he's just, I like he's accidentally fallen into that box and then almost accidentally pieced up this guy just by dropping straight down onto another player's wall. Fizz again. And now you can just sprint jump front side. Yep. This is what I mean. If you're on a good layer, you can really just fizz jump, fizz jump, fizz jump. And the thing is, these guys are really aggressive. So like, using a fizz works for them a lot more because I think these guys have a much bigger chance of getting refreshes. So you can fizz, land on someone, peace, and you can be aggressive rather than just like with a grapple blade. You're just hoping for the best, right? I'm not a grapple blade hater, but I'm just seeing a bigger and bigger trend of players not using it. 3 medkits for heal off. I don't think they've taken any storm damage. I don't think Taylor's taken any storm damage yet. Nice, okay. Some of these players are absolutely lost. He got the knock, nice. Gets out of storm again, trying not to take storm damage as much as possible. Asia players are really good at heal off. Oh, the accidental piece again. Oh, okay, there's some really, really nice... I was gonna say, there's some nice fighting styles, but a lot of these guys do look kind of lost. Okay, immediately keep him front side. Starting to run low on mats. So Taylor's gonna have to start thinking about trying to play medkits eventually if they don't get these elims. They are super aggressive though. They're constantly like, they're in this entire endgame, they've been either swinging their pickaxes or piecing something. What is that guy doing? Running into the wall, sniffing it. 9 elims, that's such a good game for them so far. Okay. Taylor's pretty well set up to play heal off. Again, I think they're in the mid ground here. I think there's a team below them, and there's definitely a team above them, which is not ideal. Taylor's fully down to 0. They have such a good tarp. Oh my god, he nearly headed him straight out. The fact that they've created such a good tarp here means it should just be free heal off. Other teammate, whatever his name is dropped down the low ground to try and disrupt heal off, and now it should just be 3 medkits win, I imagine. What's everyone else got? That's his last medkit. He's got 1. Yeah, he just wins because they have more heal offs. That's it. Really nice fragging. Like I think the Fizz in particular has allowed them to be super aggressive going into this moving zone, which keeps getting them materials, which keeps them going. That's the one. Yeah. I love this. Heroes pressuring from the side. And Khalid hopes they're gonna pressure at the back. Ooh, nice high wall. Okay, that other player inside the box needs to kind of cover his back a little bit better. I like he's distancing himself before healing. Definitely should be popping a big pot inside some builds though. Like this is snipe bait right here. Brushing the tops, just grabbing the cones. They're still, this is good. They're pinching from 2 different angles. I like that he's on top, Khaled's on top, whereas Hero's going from the side. Like you can either do 2 walls, but if you're both pressuring from walls to the other side, you leave yourself susceptible for them to jump out the top. Second year for him in comp. Nice. Okay. He's playing angles really good. Yeah, I do like this play angles. They're trying to run. That's what I mean. Now they're trying to get third partied. Like, had they been getting third partied whilst he was popping that big, like, I could be raps to them. That's like a game ender, you know? Nice, he's sticking close to the wall here just to give himself the best angles possible. Even though he's weak and they have medallion, so like as he stays close to the wall, the pressure that he's spraying is allowing Hero to go in and get the first knock. So it's like you can still pressure whilst keeping minimal, like with minimal risk, which I really like there. Now they're slowing things down a little bit. It's 2v1, but none of those builds are his at all, so. I do like how much he sneaks. Nice, I love the synchronized jump in then right at the end. Still risky though, because look how much damage they ended up dealing. Like, one of the problems with that there is like if a third party pushes in, it can just be fully wrapped, right? Because a third, they were in the open so much and not protecting themselves. If a third party comes in, it's over. There where they jump in, if someone was waiting and watching them, they can just jump in again because they're both so weak and they didn't have any of the, like, the builds around them. Because they're still, like, they're just sitting in builds that aren't theirs. So again, as soon as they finish that fight, they should create a box, at least one, where they have all the edits that they can escape from. But from that position, like, there's so many teams. Reckless can push, any of the Classy Courts teams can come in, any of the teams in the Northeast can run past this direction to come in as well. None of these teams would, but there's a lot of teams that have the potential to rotate past this direction. This part of the map in itself is actually quite frustrating. It's a lot of hills that are here, but it's a spot that many teams would set up on or rotate through anyway. So it's a place you've got to be careful. Places that are mid-map are generally places you've got to be very careful on. That teams like, you know, all these guys don't just run straight through, you know? I do love how they, like, start fights. Killer's always sneaking around. Alright, that greatness is not so great of a player. They go up. There's another team there. Splits the sniper ammo. Immediate crank for height. It's a bit risky just to build fight like this for that exact reason, where you could just get chopped down. But I like the counter damage. Okay, now he's weak, so he's immediately creates some space. I like that he elevates up and still looks for damage, right? That 100 shot right there. Okay, very risky to continually jump down on him, because if that player was looking up. But as soon as he gets tagged for damage, he's still looking for counter damage, because that'll make the other player box up. As soon as you get hit, being able to deal some damage back actually a lot of the times gives you time where you're going to be able to sit and heal up then. And Hero is still pressuring the other player to make sure he doesn't push up. Oh, and Hero just killed him. Again, every time I switch away from Hero, he kills another player. A tip, if you have W keyers in your lobby, you're in a dead game where a lot of people are W keying, sitting in brick is not a good idea. Sitting in metal is not even a good idea, because someone will W key you. The reality is, if you want to avoid getting W keyed like this, you should either sit in a cone or randomly somewhere in an old build fight, or you should sit in a bush. Or in a building or in a corner or something. Don't sit somewhere where teams can just easily push you and see you that you're weak. Like, you know, if you need a couple points and you just need to sit and chill, do not sit and box up like that, because you just make yourself a target. Like he's playing a layer above. Again, to prevent them coming out the top. As you see, that player jumps up and he's already at the same level as him then. Immediately goes for the pinch from the back. That's so nice. And then the max damage. Bad edit, but... Okay, ended it a little bit 50-50, but I love how immediately, as soon as he goes back into that build fight there, Khaled runs straight around the back and goes for another pinch on that back wall. Think he plays good in EU lobbies? Probably not. This playstyle does not work against good players. They fight really well, but there's almost no team in EU who plays like this and can get away with this. So it's hard to say if they would play well, because I don't know how they play when they're playing more conservatively. But historically, Middle East players have not done good when it comes to international lands that are build. Okay, I like the Hero went ahead first here, as this gives a chance that people start looking at him with a snipe. Whereas Khalid can stay back. Maybe not the best idea to do in the most stacked games, but in dead games like this, where people peek a lot, easy. Instead, just jump on this guy because they hit the body shot. Alright, this guy is really good at getting like other alternative angles, you know? Like, he immediately sprints from the back. Okay, he's been beamed again. That right there is a prime example of a play that probably wouldn't work against good players. Like I said earlier, the aggression when he's low is good, because it allows Hero to continually put pressure on them and not heal up and things. And go for the fights. But if they're on the same wall and you're 10 HP and you're still trying to take angles and edit, you will die against a really good player there. One thing, again, you can keep I'll keep mentioning is notice how much this guy moves his angles. Like he's playing on one wall and he'll switch to another and he'll be straight back and round again. That's one thing with a grapple blade. If you grapple blade on a dead game fully round dead side, the entire lobby will probably look at you. Oh, the accidental spin. Just keying straight in. Whoa. A little bit too aggressive again. As I've mentioned a few times, there's a lot of situations here where against better players, they probably would have died. Nice tarp on dead side. They do a really good job of finding dead side, but as I mentioned, in dead games, playing fully on dead side isn't always the best idea because you can just be lobby sprayed. Because there's so little players that no one's blocking your vision and the whole lobby can see you. Going for a snipe in endgame is kind of baller. Tarp ahead. Nice box. Great little peek. Again, this guy's fighting skill is really good. A little bit too aggressive, as I mentioned, in some situations. But you don't drop like 330 bombs or 20 bombs to being rubbish. Straight in the box. Ooh, a little bit 50-50, but he said. I like how he immediately gets out of that sticky situation. Gives himself a box to himself to edit from, as we talked about. A lot of players make that mistake of not giving themselves a box to edit of. They've got a bunch of medkits to heal off, actually. So how do they end up losing this? I don't know if they've taken much storm damage. I don't think they have. Okay, down to just wood. I don't know what this guy's doing. He seems lost. Love he's trying to cut this other player off. Nice shot as well through the window. Timing the SMG shots as he breaks through the builds to make sure he can chase him. And I like that he doesn't go for the rest of that, for the materials down there. Because that player probably didn't have much based on the fact that he was really scuffed on low ground. And his teammate was in trouble fighting someone or had just finished the fight, so he needed to get to him quickly. So good decision making in the moment. Nice. They see this is a bad layer, so they just start going down as it goes down the hill. But they get sprayed down. Ooh, nice max shot. Great reaction time. And he goes down. His hero's left as a solo. Okay, so they have no medkits now somehow. They had 4. And they just dropped down and win. Okay. Okay, interesting that Reet's gone straight for the boss without trying to fight the other team here. As he leaves himself susceptible for a third party. Push in. You do have to be very careful here. Like, that bot could have been another player, you know? That just ran in that door. You also have to try and block your exits as much as possible. Just to ensure you don't get third-partied. Because the fact that they just got that completely uncontested is insane. And also running straight down to the vault without piecing or placing any builds anywhere is a very, very scary thing to do. It's so easy for you, just like a team to sneak behind you while you're doing that. Again, if you saw the Vico part of this a stream/video, whenever it goes up, you'll have seen that as soon as possible they tried to get onto this forecast tower. So in this game, more than likely, for some reason, there's not a team going for it. Oh, that's them right there. Are they padding? Yeah, there's already a team on there. So the team that lands in this area nearly always gets to this tower first. So for Reet and Ritual, if they want forecast in a lot of games, they're going to have to fight for it every single time. Which, I mean, for these guys is not a problem because they're incredibly good fighters. There's usually... The team also usually boxes up here, but this team's probably not that good in order... Like, in reality. This team should have been boxed up here with, like, a 3x3 base already to protect against teams pushing up, but they've just dipped out. So the fact that they've just got... essentially got forecast for absolute free is insane. That right there is why you get laser. Jumping hip fire headshot. 100% accuracy. Like, that gun is insane. So right there, that is exactly why I want to use the burst over anything else. It doesn't need to ADS, you can keep moving. So if you're on height as well, which I'm not sure if they do this game. Like, look at this. Tag after tag after tag. Doesn't need to look down. Third party came in and picked up that fight, so that wasn't Ritual there. You can be so brain dead with this gun. Not that I'm saying Reet is brain dead, but you really don't have to be smart at all. You just jump, bang, bang, hit every bullet. Not every bullet, but hit with the highest amount of accuracy. Especially in the gold variation, because there's like almost no recoil when you have like the whichever attachment that is. What I would do in this situation, remember they know where the next zone is. So What they should do is probably wait the next minute here, because then they'll see the zone after that too, and they're already sitting on a position with a launch pad. But it seems like they want to go to Loot Island, which is fine. That's a totally different strat then. So, but yeah. And you can then, if you sit on Loot Island with Forecast, you can understand where the next zone will be to Rift to get further ahead. Maybe they're going to Harvest Mats. Let's see. Okay, so they just go to Loot Island. Loot Island is often not contested because there's no points for it anymore. I'm interested. What is it that they want to come here for? Bless. Thank you very much, Miles. Is it the gold? What are you wanting from this? Ah, Ritual wants the gold shotgun, I would see. Interesting. Or Reet, sorry. That's a scary loadout on a controller player. Must have been. Nice shot into the back. Reet goes for a sidewall. That opponent jumps off. Not worth chasing. So again, remember, now that they have Forecast and they know where the next zone is, in 1 minute's time when that next zone closes, they'll know the next zone and they have free rotations from the launch pads and the rifts here. I guess this is the benefit of knowing you have zone. What is this? Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, they go the next zone. So now they, of course, know where the zone after this pulls as well. And they can just use that launch pad to go to it whenever they want to. So, next zone pulls over here. So remember, outside of this, Reet and Rituals already know where the next zone pulls. Because of the Forecast. So wherever they position themselves will be based on that. I wish they would hurry up, though. There go some rifts. Shoot them out the sky. Missed. Good stuff. Whilst other people are flying through the sky, this also gives them a chance to... Oh, whoa. So using this, they actually go higher than the rifters do, which is interesting. So they already know the next zone is going to pull, so they can land pretty much exactly where they need to, which I'm guessing is going to be at the far backside. Now, the rifts only take you so far, but using the launch pad will take you even higher, and it's obviously very difficult to get shot. Look how low the rifters are in comparison to how high... I don't know why I'm pointing the screen like you can see that. In comparison to how high they are, right? Now they can land fully straight into dead side, away from every other team. And I'm presuming, like I said, the next zone is going to be over here. They took like 50 damage each and got a completely dead side zone. And obviously they're lucky here because they can get the flow berries as well. Now zone will probably pull here. I imagine straight to them. They're like capped mats going into endgame purely from that really, really good mid game they'd set up there. They pulled the next zone. So now remember, they know where the zone after this also pulls. Like they're waiting a second. Fizz. Again, they know where the next zone is. Oh, straight in the box. Okay, Reet just accidentally gets a kill, but I guess that's why you give the controller player the gold guns. And also ensure to give the auto. I like that he doesn't overcommit to that. He doesn't even go for the loot. Doesn't get the finish. He might not even get that the Elam point for that either. Fizz. Sprint. Jump. Accidentally grapple someone. Immediately look up to height. I like that they immediately layer themselves here. See how many players are all the way down below them, and they've just ensured they go up, right? These like medium layers, these kind of mid layers, obviously allow you to get height, but also at the same time allow you to go grapple a little bit freer, as long as you're not getting sprayed by height. And that's just the freest height retake, first moving already for them. Since everyone's rotating, no one is established on height, they can grapple up, chilling. And now obviously they already know where all the other zones go after this because they have Forecast, which means they can put themselves on the side of zones where they're already ahead. So I'm presuming zone will pull back. Yep, zone pulls that way, so they already know not to over-tarp. And now Reet's job here is mainly to make sure that they do not get flanked upon. So he needs to keep checking behind them, keep checking every spot that they can't see, whilst continuing trying to do damage down below and not overkilling. And then height gets spread out, but luckily because they're both carrying grapples, that's the time where you can cancel full damage, right? So like I've said a bunch of times in this that you don't necessarily want to cancel. Oh my god, I can't say carry double grapples because sometimes just flowberry is easier to or flowberry fizz is easier to carry for your rotations, and then you have more spots for heals. However, if you're on height, you really should be carrying grapple blades because if you get chopped out and you only have fizz to cancel it, like you are going to die to full damage. All right, pressuring the teams. You're seeing teams that are in metal there, so they've just done a big metal tarp, which shows that they probably have good materials, so they have a chance at winning. So they're the team that they started to spray. Again, on the other side, teams who are in wood are the teams who are in free elims, so that's easy points. Teams who are in brick, is what it is. Not necessarily the ones who want to spray on. And anyone second height, of course. Reet hasn't necessarily checked behind him that often, which is a little bit scary for a height team. That there's no one sneaking up behind him. Because even here, if someone is playing zone, it's possible for them to come behind him. Nice, player's weak. I think this should just be probably a free win, but they do get 3 more elims from here. So the question really becomes, at what point do they go down for refreshes? Because Reet only has 10 builds. Ritual has 2. So at some point, they need to make a play. There you go, players flying straight on their heads because they weren't watching from behind. Nice beams onto Vortex. Biggs popped, took his time with it, that's nice. Okay, they're almost down to complete 0 mats right now. Nice beam. At that point, you do have to start to drop. No? I was going to say you do have to start to drop and try to go for it. Are they just going to go for the heal off straight away? Do they have enough for it? Ritual has 3 medkits to try and play heal off. He's already just taken some storm damage, so he needs to start healing soon. Nice. I'm just going to watch Reet because I can't be arsed to watch a heal off. Drop. I love that. Reet goes and drops another medkit. No. I was going to say Reet goes and drops another medkit rather than going to try and fight. Beautifully done, though.